Hey, folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thanks for joining me today. If you don't already subscribe to our YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're enjoying the content, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful that you decided to hit that subscribe button. And speaking of which, I'm going to do a shout out for one of our subscribers today. I want to do a shout out for Tony Campbell. Tony Campbell, thank you very much for subscribing to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. Tony Campbell, thank you very much. Check him out. He's got his own YouTube channel, Tony Campbell, Campbell. Tony Campbell, check it out. Thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel here at the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Okay, so got some big news. I just read this just a few moments ago, and it's big news. It's pretty big news. Tessa Blanchard and her husband Daga are in talks to sign with AEW. This is SES Scoops, SE Scoops, I should say, SEScoops.com reporting. And article is Tessa Blanchard and husband Daga are in talks to sign with AEW. The negotiations have been ongoing for over a month. One source close to the situation tells us that it's all but a formality until they are signed. And says Blanchard is a former Impact World Champion. She's widely considered one of the most talented female competitors on the open market. And her father, the legendary Tully Blanchard, of course, currently part of the AEW roster. And Daga has most recently worked for Mexico's Lucha Libre AAA promotion. So that's big news. That is big news. Tessa Blanchard has been without a promotion ever since she departed from Impact Wrestling. As the world champion, or she was fired. I'm not sure the whole story, but they broke ties with each other. They both went their separate ways, and Tessa Blanchard has been without a promotion for quite some time. I thought she would have signed on to either AEW or WWE rather quickly, but that wasn't the case. But all signs seem that she is headed towards AEW with her husband Daga, and that makes a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense. One, because her dad works there. Tully Blanchard is on the AEW roster. He's manager of what is it? I believe it's the Pinnacle. He is a member of the Pinnacle, and it just makes sense that she goes there. Her dad's in. Plus, if her husband Daga comes in as well, if they both come in and they're both negotiating, so it looks like they're both going to come in. That will be another plus for Tessa Blanchard. She gets to work with her husband and her dad, so that's a win-win-win for Tessa Blanchard. And there's a lot of great possible matchups for her. Potential matchups, I should say, in AEW. Just think her against Britt Baker, her against Thunder Rosa, her against Chris Statlander. Who else we have? We have Riho. We have Tay Conte. You have Red Velvet as well. All great potential matchups for Tessa Blanchard. And let's not forget the AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida. That would be another just tremendous matchup for Tessa Blanchard. So this is pretty big, and it seems like it's going to happen. I think this reporting here, it said it's just a formality until they are signed. So they've been negotiating for a month. Seems like both sides are serious, and I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see Tessa Blanchard in AEW. So that's huge news for Tessa Blanchard, huge news for AEW, and I'm looking forward to it. I am going to keep our eyes on it. Nothing's been made official yet, but we will keep our eyes on the situation to see if anything official has taken place over the next couple of days or any announcements are being made. But I do really believe that we will see a graphic soon that states Tessa Blanchard is All Elite, and the same for Daga as well. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Big news, big news, and I know there's there with in NXT we saw that for that promo for Diamond Mines, and people were talking about this is going to be Tessa Blanchard because Tessa Blanchard wears a diamond on her ring attire, and people were saying, "Oh, this is Tessa Blanchard. She's going to NXT." I don't think she's going to NXT. I think there's more truth. I should say more truth because WWE hasn't specified. There's no, they haven't hinted Tessa Blanchard at all. So I think there's more legitimacy, I should say, that she's going to be going to AEW as per this article here from SE Scoop. So I do believe we will see Tessa Blanchard in AEW very, very shortly. All right, so let's move on. So I know we have a lot of promotions working together right now. We have New Japan working with Impact Wrestling, working with AEW. We have other promotions working together as well. And right now, it seems to be that. According to Wrestling Inc., the WWE is reportedly in talks with MLW about possibly working together. It says here WWE officials, again, WrestlingInc.com reporting WWE officials are reportedly in talks with MLW officials. It was noted in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. The WWE does not like the reputation it has of not working with anyone in the modern pro wrestling world. Regarding MLW and WWE, the talks are along the lines of the old Evolve deal, or to a degree, the ECW deal from the 1990s. The idea is to give some of the developmental guys who aren't working WWE, NXT, some work on TV. There's also the idea of the WWE creating their own Evolve-like group as a weekly streaming show. And this would allow the talents to work on actual TV and get some more exposure than on Peacock and the WWE Network. And it also makes it seems like it would also make it seem like the WWE is changing and modernizing. Okay, all right. So there you have it. So WWE and MLW reportedly in talks to be working together. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing has been agreed upon. It's this to me. I've seen on social media. This has been on social media, and people are already putting together dream matches like Alexander Hammerstone against Seth Rollins and Jacob Fatu coming in to go 1-on-1 with Roman Reigns. And to that, I'm just gonna say, whoa, let's hold our horses. This is not what this is about at all. We're not gonna see any WWE MLW dream matches at all. All this is the WWE sending some NXT guys that they're not really using on TV to MLW just so they could get some experience and they could get some on TV. They could be on TV, some on TV work, on air work. That's all this would be. We're not going to see any dream matches. We're not going to see the Von Erich showing up and going after the Usos or anything like that at all. So let's just think of it. Let's talk about it as really what it is, and it's nothing like New Japan Pro Wrestling working with Impact Wrestling. It's nothing like Impact Wrestling working with AEW. It's nothing like New Japan working with AEW. We're not going to see matches like Jon Moxley, like they have Jon Moxley against Yuji Nagata. Not going to get anything like that here. They're not going to get anything like that here. And if it even happens, I don't even know what's going to happen. I know Court Bauer is a very, very, very smart man, very, very intelligent man. He went out, he found undiscovered talents and made them into stars such as Jacob Fatu, Alexander Hammerstone, Richard Holiday, the Von Erichs, just to name a few. And Myron Reed, right? That's another one. And I don't think he's going to. I don't know. I don't know if this is some, and he's got working agreements right now with Dragon Gate and Revolution Pro from the UK. Dragon Gate, a Japanese promotion. So I don't know if he's going to want to get involved with the WWE. I think he's got a good thing going right now, and they're growing. Maybe bring in a couple of NXT guys, let them work, in MLW. But the thing with Court Bauer, and one thing that I would be worried about is the WWE would send over the NXT guys, and I'm sure they would kind of expect Court Bauer and MLW to put their guys ahead of MLW talent. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Court Bauer would want to do that. Like, I mean, like pushing Richard Holiday and Alexander Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu, to the back and push the NXT guys that aren't getting work on actual NXT television and push them on MLW television. I think WWE would want MLW to give those guys the make them the priority and not the MLW talent. That's how I would see. That's how I see the WWE operating here. And I know Court Bauer wouldn't go for that. So honestly, I don't think we're going to see anything come out of this. I don't think we're going to see anything come out of this. It did specify that WWE might be looking to create their own Evolve-like group. I could see them doing that where they have full control. So I don't think we're going to see anything evolve out of this. I think it's just speculation. Maybe they're talking, maybe they're not, but I don't think anything will come of this. I think Court Bauer knows he's got a good thing going right now, with his group of guys. And I mean, if the WWE wants like a Hammerstone, or if they want a Richard Holiday, instead of working with MLW to get them to come over, they could just wait for their contracts to run out and then offer them more money and sign them away. Then they could do that. So I don't see how this would really benefit MLW at all, except for the fact of getting a few NXT guys that aren't being used, and most likely having to give them priority over MLW talent. So I don't see it. I don't see it happening, to be honest. So, but they reportedly in talks, and but honestly, I'd be very surprised if anything came of this, unless MLW, unless like Court Bauer, like I said, is a very very smart guy. Unless he's able to work something out where MLW talent can go on to NXT, and we can get give them some in-ring talent and give them some on-air exposure, I should say, on NXT, if you can work something out. But I really don't see the WWE, allowing that. I mean, they say they want to work with other promotions, but it's really what's best for the WWE. That's how they see things. They see themselves as the number one promotion, and maybe they are. They could be the number one promotion in the world in terms of money. They are, but they don't have the best wrestling in the world. But they would only do something that would benefit the WWE, and they wouldn't really allow another promotion to send their top guys and go over on their guys. So, or take spots away from their guys. I just don't see them doing that. So I don't think this would happen. I would be very surprised if something like this, if the WWE and MLW were able to work something out here. So, like I said, I'm not expecting anything to come of it at all. Speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I know I mentioned them a couple of times. El Phantasmo, ELP, will be making his Impact Wrestling debut next week, and that's going to be absolutely huge. Wrestling Inc. was also reporting on that. I'm not going to read the article, but El Phantasmo coming in, most likely going to be in the X Division. I love El Phantasmo. He's actually a terrific talent. He's a two-time winner of the Super J Cup. He's held the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title with Taiji Ishimori. I think he held it once before as well. I can't remember who his partner was. I could be wrong there, but I think he held it twice. And but he's a great talent. So I'm looking very much forward to El Phantasmo, sorry, I got tongue-tied there, or ELP, as he's known as well, coming into Impact Wrestling. So unless they don't just throw the X Division title on him right away, I would be happy. And I don't think Josh Alexander is going to lose that title for a while. I think Josh Alexander is a great X Division champion, and I've never seen a bad Josh Alexander match. Josh Alexander against ELP will be a terrific match. But next week he makes his debut. Hopefully it'll be against like a TJP. I think he would have a great debut match against TJP. And hopefully they go down that route, or even against Chris Bay would be tremendous. But ELP makes his debut next week on Impact Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling star ELP, El Phantasmo. I got it right that time. Makes his debut next week on Impact Wrestling, and I, for one, cannot wait for that. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to me today. I'm your host, Louis Carl, and this is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.